The biggest opportunities, I think, in the cannabis industry is going to continuously be technology.
Adelia, thanks for being here. I pulled this from your website.
Okay.
World's largest online portal for cannabis events and experiences.
Yes, yeah.
This seems to be your ground zero then, yes?
Yep.
What do you have going on this week?
So we are literally partying with majority of the after parties and meetups and happy hours that are happening this week. You know, as a CMO and co-founder of EventHi, I get very, I don't want to say competitive, but I'm like, we got to get all the events for MJBizCon, you know? And we're continuing to expand that and grow. You know, we've been in business for 7 years now, and we actually work in over 47 states. Granted, some of those states might have only a couple event organizers, but you know, we're slowly expanding in each state more and more, especially as regulations change or open up these new markets.
And what is the services you provide?
So we are a ticketing platform.
Yeah.
So we provide a compliance ticket and sponsorship platform where event organizers can safely process their tickets and sponsorships for cannabis-related events. Even to this day, they're still getting shut down on Eventbrite and Ticketmaster and mainstream ticketing platforms. You know, you're really chancing it. People will say, come to us. We, without, you know, I posted 10 events on Eventbrite, and then
they got cut off.
And they'll cut them out for no reason, you know, and they'll say, oh, or you can't say this, you can't do that. So then you're not marketing yourself correctly. And how can your guest or the people you would want to attend really understand what you're going to be curating as an event organizer?
And it's one thing if it's free.
Yeah.
Right? It's maybe another thing if it's actually a paid event or a paid ticket.
Exactly. Yeah. So
it is a pain in the ass.
It is.
That you were solving for a pain in the ass that people put on events.
And that's how exactly what we learned. You know, 10 years ago we were hosting B2B events, non-consumption, in San Diego, and we actually had that happen to us. We had to fight for months just to get our ticket funds. And
this happened.
This actually happened, and it was that aha moment. Does this happen to other event creators? And then we went down the rabbit hole of why is this happening? How can we solve the problem? And then trying to solve the problem was the hardest part because we had to find a bank that would work with us. Then we had to find a credit card payment processor. We actually connected both of those CEOs of the bank and the credit card processor to actually work with us. So they are building basically new processes and like compliance stuff. Which is cool. We're open to doing it, but it's a lot of hard work because we're their guinea pig, basically.
Yeah. We not this iteration of this business, but we had an event in New York.
Okay.
Where we charged for tickets.
Yeah.
So it was eventbrite.com.
Yeah.
We wanted to take that money and put it into our Canadian bank.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It was not happening. Like our bank in Canada didn't want it. The bank, Eventbrite wouldn't release it.
Oh my god.
And I was like, oh my, and then you're just sitting on your money, right?
Yeah,
now,
exactly. So it still happens.
It does.
Yeah.
This is a while ago, but I know it still happens.
Yeah.
Can we zoom out a little bit to talk industry stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think the biggest challenge in the industry is right now?
The biggest challenge in the industry right now is, I feel like there's a lot of different ones. It's this, and I read some of the questions that you guys provided, and I was like, oh gosh, let's see. You know, I think again, in reality, it still goes back to banking. There's still a lot of challenges for a lot of businesses that can't get access to banking. Granted, there are now banks that are willing to work with us. There are quote-unquote credit card processors that are willing to work with businesses, but they charge so much money for a lot of these businesses that these businesses are not making any profit. And so, you know, their margins are limited. So how can they grow? How can they scale? And, you know, I think that's one of the biggest ones. And I think that also adds a component to, you know, people that are on the dispensary and brand side where people aren't getting paid. You know, these brands aren't getting paid by a lot of these dispensaries, unfortunately. And, you know, so again, there's all these bottlenecks and reasons why, and I'm sure there's more to it than just banking for that kind of example, but that's one big piece of it too, you know? So everything going around the banking and financial institutions access for cannabis businesses, you know, makes it really hard.
Even for people putting on events.
Yeah.
It's like, it's pervasive.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of, out of curiosity, just kind of struck me now, like how much, if you were an event business in any other industry, like how much easier things would be for you?
It would. So I used to actually have an event planning company, non-cannabis. I was working corporate, all different kinds of events.
It sounds less fun.
It was. It was. Yeah, no, definitely. Actually, looking at what I curate now, you know, because outside of EventHi, I do host my own events, a different company. So I do have a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah,
but you know, looking back at what it used to be like, venues. When as soon as you say cannabis, venues increase that charge, or they don't want to work with you.
Like the green tax.
Yeah, green tax.
Yeah.
Same thing
Green
with
tax.
service providers. The same thing. They'll start looking at that, and they look at it as Again, they think we're all making a lot of money in this industry. So again, that green tax gets added
Right.
on. You also have to be you can barely get access to getting insurance. There's very limited insurance providers that will work with cannabis events. And then you also have to find different ways to protect yourselves. Like, you know, there's liability waivers that you need to do. And again, that only protects you so much. But you do it because we have to. Let's try something. Let's make sure we're semi-covered. But yeah, I would say those are the biggest ones. I'm sure there's a lot more, but definitely the venue and the green tax.
The green tax.
Yeah.
It's like working cannabis, or it's for a wedding.
Yeah.
It's like
White tax, green
Yeah,
tax.
exactly. Exactly.
Thinking ahead to 2025, what do you think the biggest opportunities for the sector are looking ahead?
The biggest opportunities, I think, in the cannabis industry is going to continuously be technology. I really believe that. You know, I feel I saw a lot of cool companies, in the early, like 10 years ago, that just were too early. And it was really cool technology, really cool innovation. I feel like that's going to come back. You know, I used to be in the consumer electronic industry, and so around that time frame, 7 to 10 years ago, I was actually seeing cannabis companies at the Consumer Electronics Show, which is a huge convention here in Vegas, and it was cool. But now there's less and less showing up there. So I feel it's going to come back as things continue to expand within this industry. Technology is going to get more innovative, whether it comes to consumer products or even like on the service provider side, you know, things that will continue to innovate us and streamline things for us as an industry.
What is the most significant insight you've gained from your experience in the cannabis industry over the past, decade, you said?
Gosh, so I feel like the biggest insight, and this is more of a personal thing, I guess you could say, is how freaking strong, not only am I, but like all of us, because we are all living, breathing, trying to survive in this industry. And I sometimes be like, I'm crazy to do it, but I love it, you know, like I love the people that we meet, what we're able to do. And this plant, obviously, you know, that just adds a whole different component. So I would say, just how strong I have been able to pivot to learn how to survive within this industry has been such a great insight for me personally. And I know that wherever I go, if I ever leave this industry, that strength will be able to propel me in so many other areas and industries.
Smart. You feel tougher.
Very well said.
Thick skin. I want to focus on MJBiz in particular, and this is maybe even particularly relevant to you and what you do. But what aspects of your experience at MJBizCon has had the greatest influence on you and your business?
So outside of EventHi, I actually have another company called Blunt Brunch.
Yes.
It's a women empowerment event series, and over the past few years, we've continued to strategically grow our relationship with MJBizCon. And so for me, that alone has been such a great impact, because this year alone, we were at the Women's Leadership Forum yesterday for the luncheon, and we got to give a Blunt Brunch experience. For all the ladies at the lunch, we had a blunt conversations. That's what Blunt Brunch is all about. So blunt conversations, and then we also kind of left them with a call to action of like, why don't we utilize the power of us in a room together? And it was called a ask, I have to say it carefully because it's a tongue twister, and act activation. And we basically had them all share with each other what they need help with. Because if you get that out to one person or 5 people at that table, that's so much more powerful if somebody might be being able to help you with that. And so we're really trying to continue that forefront, and with MJBizCon giving us that platform and opportunity, you know, it's been amazing just seeing how it's impacting women.
Thinking more about the industry, because you actually referenced cannabis tech at CES, but thinking about sort of tech that hasn't been there or tech that you saw here at the show, like what innovation are you most excited about that you've seen either here or recently in the industry?
Let's see. So I continue to love, you know, this is more on the device side, you know, Puffco continues to amaze me in their technology, even in their marketing. Everything they do, you know, the way that they're innovating their products are very, very awesome. I want to, basically this I haven't seen recently, but I'm hoping it's going to be at the show floor. You know, a couple years ago, I started to see a lot more like devices that would help you grow. I think they were called Leaf. I think there's a company called Leaf from Canada, Israel, I believe it was. That was really cool. I don't know what happened to them, but I want to continue to see those kind of ones that I could have at my house, because I can decorate flowers and things like that, but I cannot grow a plant
Right.
for anything. And there's a lot of us who can't. So if I could grow my own and keep that access to me, I would love that.
Well, if you walk this floor in the North Hall,
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
find something
In the
for
right
sure.
spot.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm in
you're
the right
right.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got
for
you.
sure.
They got you covered. There was a company, they're based in Canada. I don't even know if they're still around, but it was like this beautiful designed thing that you'd put in the corner of your
Yeah,
living room.
like a pot or
Yeah.
something.
Well, it's a pot.
Yeah, okay.
And then you'd tell it what you planted.
Yeah.
And it would do the light. You wouldn't have to touch it again.
Okay.
There was water you put in, there were nutrients you put in, and it like did the light recipe and everything.
Yeah.
And then eventually, 4 months later, you get
I
your-
love that. See, that's what I need.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful, and like the lights are beautiful, right? So,
Yeah.
Well, I've appreciated meeting you, and thank you for coming by. Sorry we were hard to find.
No, it's all good. I'm sure it's probably inside, but I literally was running around. Yeah.
Well, we
I'm
were-
here.
Yeah.
Thank you both for
Oh,
your
no,
time.
thank you
today.
very much. It's a
Excited
real
to be
pleasure.
on
Good luck with all
Cultivated.
the rest of the events that you're part of.
Yeah, thank you so
Awesome.
much.
You got it.